the man who has pioneered the starters for
Yeah.
all of us, allowing brands everywhere to bring on top tier talent at a much more reasonable price, especially inside of the 10% OPEX era that we live inside in Ecom 4.0. I'm talking about the one and only Jai Dolwani. Jai, get inside this show.
Let's
Get in here, sir.
Get in there.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Let's go.
There he is. Let's go, Jai. Boy, it's been a while, man. I haven't talked to you in forever, but I'm so glad that we've got you on here, brother. Thank you for joining the show.
It's really been a while, and this is such a cool show. You guys have a great production going on.
Oh, we
Thank you.
appreciate it, man. We try to make
Yeah.
it pro for people like you, sir. Now, Jai, you got to give, for those who don't know you, I would consider your rise inside of Winc, the wine company. I would consider it historic. I mean, brother, you were like 17 years old in the CMO. Is that fair? I know I'm exaggerating a little bit.
26, but yeah, on the younger side.
You were basically like 12 and you were the CMO and you were crushing, man. Now you have birthed the starters that allows people to find incredibly top tier talent for ecom at a fractional affordable price before they actually hire somebody on full time. Give me background for starting the starters. I mean, was it your experience? What was your experience before? What was the motivation behind that? Why did you see this as a crucial piece for ecom today?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I probably started to try to start 10 companies before the starters, but none of them really made it off the ground floor, didn't really do more than a couple bucks in revenue. But I've always had the bug, I've always had the itch. But never really like the passion to really pursue something full time before the starters. And the inspiration did come from my time at Winc. As you mentioned, I went from director of retention, which is how I joined, to CMO in a couple of years. And I was lucky enough to have a founding team, an executive team that believed in me and gave me great opportunities and cared more about results and less about your age or number of years of experience or anything like that. And I was able to deliver those results. But I mean, let's be clear, as a 26-year-old public company CMO, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. And I was doing my best, of course, when it came to things like team building, org structure, et cetera. But I was learning as I go. And I knew that at the time. I knew that, I had an experience, but I would try to make it up in other areas. And one of the areas where I probably made the biggest mistakes was around team building. You see, 2020, 2021, that was a time where companies like Allbirds, like ourselves, like Casper were absolutely blowing up. We were getting so much venture capital funding, and it was really a race. Grow your team, grow your revenue, get as big as possible. We were essentially being thought of as tech companies. But the underlying economics of a consumer business is so different, and we learned that afterwards. But long story short, we IPO'd in November of 2021. I was promoted to CMO. And I did what I thought every CMO should do. I did what the Harvard management books taught you to do: hire great people, delegate, build your organization, gain leverage. But something changed. A, we were unprofitable. B, all of a sudden, the zero interest rate market bubble popped and cash stopped coming in. And as an unprofitable business with bloated OPEX and zero ability to raise additional capital, our stock price crashed by 95% in about 3 months. And all of a sudden, we were faced with a reality, which was we had to lay off most of our team. So round after round after round, I went through laying off people that I had just hired, who had made implicit promises to their livelihoods, people who had moved to join the company. And that was really tough on me. I laid off friends.
Oh, brother.
And during that time, I had to kind of figure out how to keep the wheels turning while having a bare bones team. And that's where I really turned to fractional work. I knew I wasn't going to go to the Upworks and Fivers of the world because of quality concerns I've had from experiences in the past. And so I turned to staffing agencies, and I realized that the way their model works is essentially I had hired a marketer that was getting paid $50 an hour to do a job. but I was paying the staffing agency $150 an hour. So they
Oh,
were actually making more as the middleman than the actual marketer themselves. And that's really where I saw the opportunity. And it was kind of twofold. A, like, I wanted to help other businesses and other founders avoid the mistakes that I made as a CMO and actually build teams that are sustainable through ups and downs of a business. And B, I saw this hole in the market. I'm like, man, the middleman does not need to be taking that much. So I ended up quitting my job. I launched the starters. I wired my business a $5,000 check from my personal account, and I built it in a bootstrapped way. And it's been a little bit over 3 years. But our entire focus is on helping e-commerce brands access the best talent, the best
love
operators,
it.
marketers, creatives, technologists, without adding a penny in markups or commissions or recruiting fees. We charge a monthly flat membership fee, $300 a month, hire as many people as you want. And we still go through, we vet everyone, we interview them, we curate the platform, make sure they really are the best of the best. But that's the story behind the starters.
Man,
That's
I
incredible.
love that.
That's absolutely incredible. What's interesting now is you have an understanding of the demand market for e-commerce and the positions that are going on right now. From that perspective, what are the most in-demand fractional roles that you see within the industry right now where e-commerce companies are approaching you and you're saying, hey, we need these people. There's not enough of these people in the industry. We need more of them.
Yeah, the number one role, and it has not changed over the last 18 months, has been the creative strategist. The creative strategist is the
Unreal.
backbone to every e-commerce organization. They are the ones that can actually unlock true growth on Meta, on TV, on YouTube. And believe it or not, there are a lot of creative strategists. There are very, very few truly excellent creative
Yeah,
strategists.
that's
And
fair.
so the best ones on the platform, they're always booked up. They've been able to more than double their rates over time, but that role has really been the most popular one. And what I mean by a creative strategist, because everybody has a different definition
Yeah,
of
what's it
this
mean?
role, but the ability to understand your consumer and their pain points. They're combing through reviews, they're looking at comments on ads, they're looking on Reddit, they're looking at competitors and competitors reviews. B, use that information to generate ad concepts. C, take those ad concepts and create full form scripts. So they must be great copywriters, creating the copy for the ads themselves, whether they're static or video ads. And then D, going out and finding the creators to actually bring that content to life. And finally, composing that raw footage into an ad that actually converts. So they're going through this entire cycle end to end, and it requires a lot of skill sets. Not only are they doing that, but they're getting their ads up, they're looking at the data, and they're continuously iterating in a scientific way. That's
Yeah.
what a great creative strategist does. They own that entire end-to-end funnel, not just a small piece of it.
Could
That go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Kyle. That is a hard person to find. I
That's a
totally
very hard
agree.
person. And so that like top 5% you were talking about there, could you talk a little bit about and put some teeth into how much those types of people are commanding per year from the market themselves, how much they're probably making per year? If you're a top
Yeah.
5% creative strategist going out into the world of e-commerce, what can you expect that range to be?
Yeah, I actually think that a lot of the ones are significantly undercharging. But on a freelance capacity, anywhere from 120 to $150 an hour, which if you annualize is well over, if I'm doing my math correctly, like 250 to 300K plus a
Yeah.
year on a fractional basis. Now, full time at a brand, that role's probably getting 150 to
Sure.
$180,000 plus some perks and benefits. But I'm like,
Absolutely.
look, if you're a top 5% creative strategist and you have a full time job, try to take on one client. Charge that client $150 an hour and just see how much more money you can make on a fractional basis. You can probably double your salary. There have been people who have kind of gone from that, like, okay, I have a full time job. Maybe I can take on one client.
Yeah.
Actually, holy crap, I can double my salary by doing this full time
Yeah.
and then making that transition. They can unlock a lot of personal growth, and they deserve it because they're growing brands from a million to 10 million or 10 million to 100 million, and they're really the backbones behind that operation.
That's wild. I
So
have some friends that are doing exactly that, and they stay on their full-time job for the benefits, and they have some of these crazy clients on the side, and they're pulling in 350, 400, not a problem. And it's
100%.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can deliver results, you will
Yeah.
be fine. And they can
It's crazy.
deliver results.
Yeah.
what I have heard, Jai, and I've heard this from C-suites, founders, owners, etc. Some pushback on this. They'll just say like, "Ugh, these marketers, they're all the time moonlighting. They're doing something that's not for me and my brand, and I hate it. I hate it." Now,
Yep.
my pushback to that is like, okay, well, my friend, pay them more. If you don't want them doing anything, if you don't want to do anything for anybody else, then pay them more. But there does seem to be an inclination for marketers, creative strategists, anybody who's kind of working in our realm to moonlight a little bit, have a client or two here and there while they have their steady gig. But I just find like it's difficult because marketers don't get paid like salesmen. There's a reason why salesmen are the highest earners and anywhere in the market, is because it's like you eat what you kill, and big boy, if you kill a lot, we're going to feed you a lot. But marketers don't have that same arrangement. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that? Do you see that in the same way?
Yeah, I mean, as a leader or founder or CEO, you have one or two options. A, like understand your top talent's intrinsic motivations, and a lot of it could be financially related. Others people are motivated by having a mission that they believe in, a team that they love working with, and make sure that you're fulfilling what they're there for. If you are doing that, they probably won't want to moonlight. I had a friend of mine who reached out to an email marketer at a competing brand just a couple
Wow.
days ago saying, "Hey, can you come consult for me? My brand's smaller, maybe you can help me." And they responded by saying, "I actually can't. I'm completely busy. Like I don't want to." And they're literally turning down money, but because they are fulfilled by their job. So that's option one, is identify the top talent. 100% understand what motivates them, what drives them. It may not be monetary, and try to fulfill those things. Option number two is don't care about how many hours your marketers work, just care about the output that they deliver and let them do whatever they want in their own time. If they're delivering output, why do you care? Because they can deliver more output? Well, then incentivize them to do so. So those are like the two ways that I think about it. Like either A, like you're doing everything you can to make sure that they don't want to do that, or B, you just care about the output. If they're delivering output, what they do on their own free time. Some people like to, go running, play basketball, play pickleball.
Yeah.
Other people may want to go freelance for another client. That's totally up to them.
Yeah.
Get the bag, so to speak. Get the bag.
Exactly. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
can't hurt people for trying to get the bag.
100%.
Can't hurt people for that. So
Mhm.
you got the $10 million brand listening right now. They're in a spot, and they're coming to you and they're saying, "Hey, we want to fill some spots in here. We want to fill some fractional talent in here. What's some underrated grabs that they should be focusing on? If it's 2 to
Yeah.
3 that they should be focusing on, blank canvas, you can put whatever you want in there, that you would say it would really behoove you to maybe put this guy in there or maybe put this guy over here, because I
Yep.
think this would probably get you guys to $20 million."
Yeah. So I'm going to flip that on its head a little bit, because
Sure.
I feel like a lot of these brands are on that trajectory, but a lot of them are making a massive mistake today, and they're doing so because of pressure. And that has everything to do with AI. Everyone, you're on X, you're on LinkedIn, you're looking at news from Meta and Zuck and all these other companies conducting layoffs after layoffs after layoffs to save
Yeah.
money, because that's what you're supposed to be doing today.
Yeah.
People are cutting the wrong roles. And I've seen this movie before in a different space, right? Like
Yeah.
I hired the people, I delegated because that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But in this scenario, people are cutting what I think is the most important thing, which is judgment. And judgment is something that AI is not replacing. Yes, definitely go adopt all of the tools. That's table stakes. but don't let go of the people who have good judgment, the people who can help you make better decisions, and the orchestrators of those tools. Those truly strategic roles, the ones that you pay the most for, they're expensive for a reason. And that human judgment's only going to become more and more expensive. So if I'm looking at the $2 to $3 million brand, or if I'm looking at the $10 million brand, to answer your question, they're all cutting roles. They're stopping hiring in a lot of specific areas because they think that that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they see on X. That's what they see all these CEOs doing. But I would argue adopt the tools, cut the roles that are purely executional, the ones that the tools are replacing, but do not let go of your best human judgment. Don't do that. So when I think about the roles that they need to hire, they want to bring on, people who are in coaching or advisory capacities, people who have the experience to look at something and make a decision because they've been in that seat before, bring them on as advisors, bring them on as coaches. The most underutilized form of hiring is coaches. If you're entering into TikTok Shop, as an example, why would you not have a TikTok Shop expert on your payroll for 5 hours a month to help guide that launch, to help you evaluate data, to help you avoid the mistakes that they've already made? And so no matter what size you are as a brand, I would highly encourage you to bring on coaches, to bring on advisors, to help bring that experience and judgment to the tools that you're already onboarding, which are, in my opinion, table stakes at this point.
Jai, where can we find those people? Where can we
On the
find them,
starters,
brother?
baby.
There we go. There we go. That was the tee up right there. I love that.
Now, Jai, I have heard, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I've heard that there's a couple brands, one, two, maybe that you yourself own and employ the starters for. Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah, so that is true. I run two e-commerce brands. One I own, one I just run. One is in the food and beverage space, the other is in the automotive space. And both of those brands are run entirely, or the e-commerce operations are run entirely by starters on the platform. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. The auto parts brand is the one that I like to talk about a lot. There's one starter doing Google ads for $700 a month, and that is operating the entire business. It's a one-time purchase thing. We don't need CRM. We don't need paid social because it's intent-based. It's a replacement auto part. And that is literally all the OpEx that we have. But yeah, I put my money where my mouth is, not only for the starters. Internally, almost all of our hires, all of our fractional hires are done from the platform itself. But for the two e-com brands, which by the way, I'm able to run with a ton of leverage because I have the starters to run on a day-to-day basis. And I have that leverage because I have excellent fractional talent running the day-to-day of that business, being incredibly successful. I don't have weekly or daily stand-ups with them. Everything is asynchronous, and it works out really well. And me running those brands and running them successfully is what gives me the conviction in what I'm doing at the starters, because I can see what it can do for an e-commerce business.
Wow. I love that. Yeah, you're dog fooding your own product to the brands, and you can then use those as case studies as a byproduct, which is wild.
I love it.
Exactly.
I love it so much. I mean, when I was running CamSkins in a very earlier version of e-commerce, we only had fractional talent on, and I wish that the starters was around to get that instead. And we talk a lot about on this show the one-man brand, where I think with what you're offering right now, a lot more people can be that one-man solo operator or woman solo operator and have this support cast of a couple folks around them and basically be able to replace their entire income and have a completely viable business. And that's not a far-fetched thing to really conceptualize now.
No.
With the quality of the talent out there. I mean, it's just unbelievable what you're doing.
Yeah, the tools are there. We're not trying to compete in that space. The tools are amazing and they're there, and we bring the people however you want to engage with them.
Yeah.
Jai, when I see your background here, I don't know what it is, but I imagine in my mind's eye, it's like you're living in the penthouse of some high rise in San Francisco, and you've got the sea behind you or something. I don't know where you are in the world today, but you deserve all the success you get, brother. We appreciate what you're doing for the space and the people that you're availing us all to have and incorporate in our businesses, man. We love it.
I appreciate you. I am on the west side of LA in my townhouse. So if anybody wants to grab a coffee or a drink is in LA, hit me up.
All right,
Oh,
all right. Well, when we
good.
make our way to SoCal, which we are going to do this year at some point, we're going to come
Man.
see you. And man, we appreciate you coming on. We look forward to having you back, brother.
Thanks so much. Appreciate the time. Have a good one, guys.